Since 2004, the state track and field meet has been held at the Jesse Owens Memorial Stadium in Columbus. Named after the Olympic and Ohio State track legend, in 2006 the Jesse O saw a performance reminiscent of its namesake as number 9 on 44's Top 44 Boys Countdown cemented his place in the record books with 4 gold medals at the state meet. Even though most college coaches will tell you they prefer athletes who play more than one sport in high school, there does seem to be a decline in that practice, except at smaller schools, partially out of necessity, partially out of a stronger sense of loyalty to fellow students and their communities. Checking in at number 33 on 44's Top 44, a volleyball star who excelled in other sports as well. Our final track athlete in 44's Top 44 Female Countdown takes us back to Mercer County, and the lone Coldwater Cavalier to make this list. All by herself among the Cavs greats is fitting because in distance races and cross country, she was usually also all by herself, well ahead of the second place finisher. 11 boys remain on 44's Top 44 Countdown. Of those 11, 7 played college football, and 5 of those got at least a tryout with the NFL, including number 11, a Panther, a Bobcat, a Lion, a ferocious cat on the gridiron, but a gentle lamb off of it. And that brings us to the top male athlete of the last 10 years. Like Mock, he was a high school quarterback and a good one, but didn't play football as a senior, not because of any injuries, but because he decided to focus on the sport that would lead him to college and to the NBA. Aaron Kraft, Liberty Benton, class of 2010, basketball and football. Helped lead Liberty Benton to the state title game in basketball as a freshman and in football as a junior. 2010 Division III Basketball Player of the Year after averaging 26 points, 7 assists, and 8 rebounds to go along with 3.2 steals per game. Twice All-State in basketball and a 1,000-point scorer, his Liberty Benton basketball teams went 88-5 in his 4 years. Played football as well for the Eagles as both a quarterback and free safety. On the gridiron, LB was regional champions in 2006 and the state runners-up in 2008. An All-State quarterback in 2007 and 2008, while earning Ohio Division V Offensive Player of the Year honors as a junior. In just 3 years, gained 11,000 yards of total offense, leading the Eagles to a 38-4 record. Was also an exceptional defensive player in football.
You could tell from an early age, Aaron had worked incredibly hard in his game. Even you noticed in middle school that Aaron was going to be something special. And I remember going into that his first freshman year that he was our starting point guard. You could tell that in the summer he had enough ability.
Well, the thing I noticed most about Aaron Kraft was how well he competed. He's 6'1", he's got athletic tools, he's got size and strength and so on, but his competitiveness is what set him apart from other players.
Aaron was basically a coach on the floor for Steve, and what he was able to relay to the team, even though the kids knew what was going on, Aaron could reinforce it in a way that was different than coming from a coach, so to speak, to where everybody bought into it. I thought he was an outstanding player.
He still distributed the ball and found the right guy because he knew there was going to be guys that the other teams were paying a lot of attention to him. But that's one thing I think Aaron, for us in our basketball program, he just made everybody around him better.
In my role today, I look at more what they do for the sport itself and maybe for a team. And I think that's what Aaron Kraft epitomizes as much as anything. He did so much for the game of basketball, bringing back, if you want to say, the hustle, the desire, what we love in high school basketball. And obviously he carried that further than that.
I remember seeing him as a freshman guard for that state runner-up team with Liberty Benton. But really what impressed me about Aaron was his presence and his ability on the football field. I thought that football would be his natural next step, and to play that at the college level, a good defensive back. His decision not to play as a senior at Liberty Benton, I think shocked a lot of people, but it was the right decision.
I think Aaron Kraft was a better football player than he was a basketball player. Personally, I think he made a pretty good decision playing basketball, but as a high school player, he was a better football player than he was a basketball player.
He was a weapon on both sides. He really was. He had the ability to, just like he did on the basketball court, he had that, the ability as a defensive back to feel that receiver's at, anticipate what the quarterback wanted to do, and made him extremely dangerous from that standpoint. He got the notoriety for being the quarterback, but he was an unbelievable defensive back for us.
I thought when I watched him, you know, because we went against other kids that went D1 and, you know, got sniffs on NFL teams. I thought this kid could play on Sundays. I mean, I thought he was that good as a safety, especially. But that kid was special.
He was just a tremendous athlete. I mean, if baseball would have been something he would have wanted to spend some time on and some effort with, he would have been a tremendous baseball player. Would have been great in track. You know, he just had that. He just had that something special, that athleticism you just don't see very often. You know, we talk often. We never seen him in a bad mood. Never seen him, you know, where it wasn't full go. And that was just contagious. That was contagious for our whole football team. He was a tremendous football player individually, but what he did, those little things, made everybody around him a little bit better. And those were good times.
Aaron has a good rapport with younger kids, and it was just important for him, I think, to be able to use his ability to make other kids better. And I think those are the little things that I just remember that make him special. He wasn't he wasn't an ego guy. It was all about other people and doing what he can to make teams better.
As great an athlete as he was on the court, even better person off of it.
Not many people expected him to succeed at Ohio State, much less be there all 4 years. Not only did he exceed that, he excelled, and he became one of the poster childs for college basketball in the country during that time frame.
Went on to an all Big Ten career with the Buckeyes, winning League Defensive Player of the Year honors twice, as well as Sixth Man of the Year as a freshman, and helped lead the team to the Final Four as a sophomore. Graduated Ohio State with over 1,000 points scored, and as the program's all-time leader in assists and steals. Aaron Craft, #1 on 44's Top 44 Male Athletes. Craft has spent the last 2 seasons playing in the NBA's Developmental League, where he led Santa Cruz to the league title in 2015 and was named the Defensive Player of the Year. He is scheduled to play in the NBA Summer League for the 3rd straight. Brings us to the top female athlete of the sports sport decade. Like Kate Craft, she also grew up in the shadow of a star athlete brother, a Super Bowl winning quarterback. But she didn't shy away from the spotlight, making history in the Flag City. Roethlisberger, Findlay, class of 2007, volleyball and basketball. Averaged 22.3 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 2.8 assists, and leading the Trojans to the state tournament in 2007 and earning Ohio Division I Player of the Year honors. Findlay's all-time leading scorer also set the school record for single-season made free throws. 3 times All-Ohio, 3 times Greater Buckeye Conference Player of the Year, 3 times All-District. All-Ohio in volleyball, as she became the first Findlay female athlete to earn All-Ohio honors in 2 sports.
Carly Roethlisberger was, in my opinion, one of the best athletes, female athletes, to come out of this area in a long, long time. I mean, it's hard to think back upon someone that had the natural athletic tools along with the basketball skill that she had at the wing position. She could change a game around the basket, away from the basket. She was a tremendous, tremendous athlete.
You know, for Carly, the thing that I noticed about her was that how she didn't force anything. You know, the game kind of came to her, and she let the game come to her, and she could play 1 through 5 on the offensive end, and guard 1 through 5 on the defensive end. And when she was 6 foot tall and have the handles as a guard and the ability to post up and ability to knock down shots, it was just it was tremendous. You could tell that she was a really a good team leader as well. You could see that her teammates enjoyed her. They were a very close-knit group, you can tell, and she really led them, and they fed off her ability to lead. And obviously her senior year, you know, to take that team to the state Final Four in Division I, that's a very impressive feat.
Carly Roethlisberger was just an outstanding basketball player. She could handle the ball as well, even though she was 6'1". She used her size very well, passed the basketball very well, but when Findlay needed to score, the ball was in Carly Roethlisberger's hands, and pretty much there wasn't anything you could do about it. She was going to score.
When I think Carly Roethlisberger, I think about her toughness. District championship game, her senior season. She drives baseline, takes an inverted elbow right above her eyebrow, blood pours out. goes in the locker room, slaps a butterfly Band-Aid on it, comes back out in the second half, leads the Trojans to victory not only that game, but 2 more wins and onto the state tournament.
I go back to, it's amazing how we say this, but good family. You know, good family values and how they're taught hard work. They're taught, you know, respect for opponents. They're taught respect for coaches. And I think all of those things blended together, tremendous hard work and the toughness of it. I don't remember her ever missing a game. I don't ever remember her missing a practice. And that speaks volumes for someone, you know, in that caliber. She was a great player. And I look at it more so, she was a great volleyball player too. She was a tremendous all-sport athlete.
She was a tremendous volleyball player. She played middle blocker and was very fluid, jumped out of the gym, but she decided to pursue basketball, but she definitely could have been a 4-year collegiate volleyball player as well.
I think it's tough that everybody in the world really knows who your big brother is, and right when you say your last name, and so be able to go through with that and still be a great athlete. You know, you could say, my brother's the athlete in the family, I'm going to go do this. Well, really, she's just as great an athlete as Ben is.
The path was a very difficult one for Carly to live up to the expectations that were set, the level that was set by brother Ben. But she exceeded those expectations in some respects, to going on to Oklahoma and being outstanding, and then later a second sport in college, and outstanding young lady.
After playing 4 years of basketball at Oklahoma, joined the Sooners volleyball team for a 5th year. Carly Roethlisberger, #1 on 44's Top 44 Female Athletes. Roethlisberger is still involved in athletics. She's the Community Relations Coordinator for Major League Baseball's Pittsburgh Pirates.